Welcome back to Creative Alternatives. Today we are exploring rethinking success and productivity. Close your eyes for a moment and picture success. Be honest. Did you see a packed calendar, unread messages at midnight, coffee instead of sleep, and a life that looks impressive but feels exhausting? Somewhere along the way, we were sold a quiet lie that if we are not constantly producing, optimizing, and pushing, we are falling behind. And most of us never stop to question it. We live in a world that worships productivity like a moral virtue. Busy is praised. Rest is suspicious. Doing more is automatically seen as doing better. From a young age, we're trained to measure our worth by output grades, promotions, income, followers, milestones. The question is rarely are you fulfilled, but at what have you achieved lately? And so we run. We stack goals on top of goals, believing that once we reach the next one, we'll finally feel successful. But that feeling keeps moving, always just out of reach. The problem isn't ambition. The problem is that we've confused motion with meaning. We've mistaken activity for impact. Productivity, in its modern form, often has nothing to do with creating something valuable and everything to do with staying visibly busy. We optimize our mornings, hack our habits, and track every minute, yet feel strangely disconnected from the reason we started. We do more faster, but feel less alive doing it. Ask yourself this uncomfortable question. If no one could see your achievements, would you still chase them? If there were no applause, no likes, no external validation, would the work still matter to you? For many people, the honest answer is no, and that's not a personal failure, it's a cultural one. We were taught to chase symbols of success instead of defining success for ourselves. True productivity is not about squeezing every drop of energy out of your day. It's about alignment. It's about doing the right things, not all the things. Yet most systems reward volume over value. We celebrate people who answer emails at midnight, not people who design lives with intention. We applaud burnout as dedication and call exhaustion a badge of honor. Over time, this mindset doesn't just drain energy, it erodes identity. You stop asking who you are and start asking what's next on the list. What makes this even more dangerous is how normalized it's become. When everyone around you is overwhelmed, your own overwhelm feels justified. When stress is universal, peace feels lazy. When speed is rewarded, slowness feels like failure. But look closely. A culture that never rests eventually collapses under its own weight, and individuals are no different. Rethinking success begins with a radical idea. Your value is not proportional to your output. You do not need to earn rest. You do not need to justify your existence through constant achievement. Productivity should be a tool that serves your life, not a master that consumes it. Until we challenge the assumptions we've inherited, we'll keep climbing ladders only to realize they were leaning against the wrong wall. And that realization that pause right before you ask, what am I actually working toward? That's where the real conversation about success truly begins. If the old definition of success is built on constant output, the next question becomes uncomfortable but necessary. What has it cost us? Look around. Anxiety is common. Burnout is normal. Rest feels guilty. We are more connected than ever, yet chronically depleted. Treated. This isn't a coincidence, it's the direct result of measuring human worth with mechanical standards. We treat ourselves like machines, expecting consistent performance without acknowledging limits. But humans don't function on infinite energy. Creativity fades without rest. Focus fractures under pressure. Motivation collapses when there's no meaning behind the effort. Yet instead of questioning the system, we blame ourselves. We download another productivity app, wake up earlier, push harder, and wonder why we still feel behind. Here's the truth most people avoid. Doing more does not automatically move you forward. In fact, it often keeps you stuck. When your days are filled with urgency, there's no space for clarity. When every moment is optimized, nothing is deeply experienced. We confuse progress with speed, forgetting that direction matters more than pace. Running fast in the wrong direction only takes you further away from what you want. Rethinking productivity means shifting from accumulation to intention. It's no longer about how much you can handle, but about what actually deserves your energy. Not every opportunity is worth saying yes to. Not every task is equally important. But the culture of hustle trains us to treat everything as urgent, everything as necessary, and everything as now. The result is a life that feels full but empty at the same time. Consider this: some of the most meaningful moments in life produce nothing measurable. Deep conversations, long walks, stillness, reflection, healing. None of these show up on a to-do list, yet they shape who you become. A productivity model that ignores these moments is incomplete at best and destructive at worst. When we only value what can be tracked, we lose sight of what actually transforms us. There's also a hidden fear driving overproductivity, the fear of being replaceable. If I slow down, someone else will get ahead. If I rest, I'll fall behind. If I stop producing, I'll become irrelevant. This fear keeps people trapped in cycles they've outgrown, but relevance built on exhaustion is fragile. Sustainable success comes from depth, not depletion. Imagine productivity as stewardship rather than extraction. Instead of asking, "How much can I get done today?" you ask, "What deserves my best attention?" Instead of maximizing hours, you protect energy. Instead of glorifying business, you value effectiveness. This doesn't make you lazy. It makes you strategic. It allows you to show up fully for fewer things rather than half present for everything. The shift is subtle but powerful. You stop proving your worth and start honoring it. You stop chasing productivity as an identity and start using it as a tool. And slowly, the pressure to constantly perform loosens its grip. You begin to realize that your life is not a race to be won, but a rhythm to be understood. That realization changes how you work, how you rest, and ultimately, how you define success itself. So if success is no longer about constant output and productivity is no longer about doing more, what does a redefined life actually look like? It starts with courage, the courage to disappoint expectations that were never yours to carry. Because the moment you step off the treadmill of endless achievement, something interesting happens. You begin to hear your own voice again. Rethinking success means shifting from external validation to internal alignment. Instead of asking, "Does this look impressive?" you ask, "Does this feel right?" That question alone can change careers, relationships, and entire life paths. Many people are exhausted not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much of what doesn't matter to them. True there. When your actions align with your values, effort feels purposeful instead of draining. A healthier definition of success includes space to think, to breathe, to choose. It allows for seasons of intensity and seasons of rest without shame. It understands that growth is not linear and that pauses are not failures, but part of the process. In nature, nothing blooms all year. Productivity without rest is not strength, it's imbalance. This new approach also changes how we measure progress. Instead of counting tasks completed, we notice depth of focus. Instead of measuring hours worked, we notice clarity gained. Instead of chasing constant momentum, we pay attention to sustainability. The question becomes, can I live this way for 10 years, not just 10 weeks? If the answer is no, it's not success, it's survival mode. Redefined productivity invites presence. When you're not rushing to the next thing, you're actually here for this one. You listen better, you think deep, you create with intention instead of urgency. Ironically, this often leads to better results, not worse. Work produced from clarity carries more weight than work produced from pressure. There's also a quiet confidence that emerges when you stop overperforming for approval. You no longer need to broadcast how busy you are. You don't need to justify rest. You trust that your value is inherent, not earned minute by minute. This confidence is calm, not loud. It doesn't rush. It doesn't compare. It knows when enough is enough. Ultimately, rethinking success is an act of self-respect. It's choosing a life that feels meaningful on the inside, not just impressive on the outside. It's understanding that your time is finite, your energy is precious, and your attention shapes your reality. When you treat these things with care, productivity becomes intentional, not compulsive. One day the to-do lists will be forgotten, the titles will fade, the metrics will stop mattering. What will remain is how you lived, how you felt, and whether the life you built actually belonged to you. And when success is defined that way, productivity finally finds its proper place, not as the goal, but as a servant to a life well lived.